Going live. I think the mic's hot, and I think we're on.
Is it on?
All right, I think we're good. I think we're live.
Cool. Welcome to episode 4 of the Podawan podcast. I'm your host, Steve Briggs, alongside Oliver Palmer.
What's going on?
And this episode, we're going to discuss our reaction to the new Rise of Skywalker trailer that dropped on Monday night. I don't know if we're also going to play the trailer through, so if you haven't seen it, you'll get a chance to see it with us, and we'll break down each scene and come up with some of the theories that we think will happen with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, yep. And then, actually, I don't know that we'll do... Is it going to be episode 4? Because I don't think we're going to put this one on Spotify. Because I don't know that we have the audio track, because it won't come through like the...
We can.
But the video won't come through. So it'll be weird listening to us go quiet for 3 minutes.
It's true.
We can try. We can try either way. We're going to start a YouTube channel, and we're going to do these streams more often. Normally, I think we can do the audio, but I think this one would be kind of odd because it's just going to be like, you know what I mean?
We can
try.
Yeah, I mean, there's other podcasts I've listened to. They do like game casts or like stuff like that where they play content and you can listen to it. It's not the greatest, but.
All right, yeah.
Know,
I mean, we can
try
it. I just don't know that this is... so we're going to call the next full episode, episode 5?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll call it 4. That's fine. All right, so we were just chatting before we went live about kind of what our reactions were and some different theories we had going. And Steve was talking to me today, and I caught him because I'm a huge leaks person. Like, I'm fine with leaks, but I've always been fine with leaks when because they're almost always like parts of it will be true and parts won't. So then when you get so many of them, it doesn't matter because it's like you've heard every theory possible and it's this way and that way, so you don't know what's going to happen. But they've been talking about this, the Jedi Praxis guy,
which I completely missed.
Right, which is fine. It's like a Reddit thing. And that he's been like dead on and has very specific things. So I've stayed away from that one only because as much as I'm into the speculation, if someone just has the script, I don't want to know the script because then it's not fun. A little bit. So I caught you before you read the whole thing, thankfully.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went on Reddit this morning and I was looking at different leaks and stuff, and obviously there was after the trailer dropped Monday night, there was a lot of speculation, a lot of different things that bunch of people on Reddit were talking about, and I came across this one where it was like, oh, if you want to check out one of these fan theories, click here, and it went to this like PDF, which I was like, oh, this is cool. It's kind of like someone took the time to put together this whole deal.
Right.
And it at the top it says Act 1, so I'm like,
just thinking they're making like a super specific.
Yeah,
guess.
I was like, okay, well, all right. So I start reading through it. In it actually has images from the trailer, actually, which is funny.
Yeah.
And I started reading a little bit of it, and then we just happened to text, and I was also thinking in my head, I was like, this is really detailed. This, like, there's way too much info here. It's odd, because usually it's right in the Reddit post when someone's like, here, this is what I think about this theory, blah, 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 whatever. This was like extremely detailed, and so then I texted Ollie. I was like, "Hey, did you read anything on this Praxis fan theory or whatever?" And then he was like, "Stop it!
Don't read it
immediately." And I was just like, "Oh shit!"
There'll probably be some, because he came out with Force Awakens stuff too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And some of it
he did Last Jedi. That's because someone did comment, because I then went through the comments after that, and they were like, "Don't read it if you want everything ruined." I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I think some of it was wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah.
Some of it changed a little bit, and I did hear recently that they were testing like 8 different endings. So, but the point is, I think he has most of the main story beats correct. Like, right. I don't think most of those are going to change. So that's why I want to stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love leaks. I don't even love leaks. I love like theories. You know
That's
what I mean?
I thought I was reading at first, and then I was like, wait a second, this is like detailed by like scenes, and I was like, this can't be, this has to be close to the source. Someone
No, I agree.
knows what's going on.
I agree.
And so, yeah, so I only got a few tidbits of it, so I didn't get completely ruined. So I can still...
So we're good to speculate.
I can still have theories.
You didn't make it all the way through Act 1?
No, not at all.
All right.
Nope.
Well, that's cool. All right, so we're here to do like our reaction, so we'll just run the trailer through.
Yep.
Real quick. We can comment as it's going, and then we'll go back and discuss it in a little more detail. We've full disclosure, we've both already seen the trailer, so it's not a first time viewing. But all right, let's get it going. Now, do you think this is
an instinct?
The forest moon of Endor? It looks more like Yavin 4.
A feeling.
Yeah, it might be Yavin.
The force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
It just makes stuff look so real now. Yeah. The ships and stuff. That's what I think is the coolest.
No one does.
But I do.
Like, you're gonna stab yourself with a cross? I want to know what that.
Have I waited?
What that frozen stuff is, yeah. And then there's Ghost.
Coming together.
There's so many ships in there. I was coming back to that.
Is your undoing. What are you doing there, 3PO?
What are you doing there?
Taking
At
one
first, when I
last
watched this
look
scene, I was like, alright, whatever. And then,
at my friends.
yeah, it's definitely
Yeah, you must. I guess like memory wipe or something is what they're kind of hinting at, or he won't get his memory back from whatever he goes into.
Your destiny.
Why in action?
right there, that part.
The force will be with you.
Always.
She looks so scared right there.
Yep. Yep. It's Luke.
Yeah, so the...
It's Luke. It's all Luke.
So a couple of things. Let's go... I'm just going to scroll back to the beginning. I'll describe kind of some of the stuff. So that first planet... we've heard that there's a planet called Podawan. A lot of people think it's that desert planet, right? Yep. That's kind of the hands-down theory so far. So this training planet... I'm going to go Yavin 4 is going to be my guess. It looks like tropical. Endor was a forest moon, and yes, I know the stereotypical thing for Star Wars is like there's only one biome on every planet. It's like a jungle planet, or you know what I mean? But it doesn't look like the forests of Endor to me, like all these shots. You know what I mean? It looks more jungly. What do you think? I mean, it could be a new planet. It always can just be a new planet, you know? Remember Jakku, and everybody's like, it's Tatooine. You know?
I actually don't know if it'd be Yavin, just because... I feel like if she's... So it seems like she's running, like, maybe like she's training or something.
I think these are training scenes,
so if she's training, why would she be so close to the source training? Like
the source of...
Like, so we've seen, like, the remains of the Death Star and the other...
Oh, you think this is the same planet as the Death Star?
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, okay.
I think she's in a different planet, like a different system or something.
Yeah, that's why I think it's Yavin 4. I don't think the Death Star is on Yavin 4. I think it's this... Yeah, that's... Well, the forest moon of Endor, yeah.
Yes.
So she's not close to it if she's on Yavin. The only thing I would say about Yavin is bringing it back would be it's always these...
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Like she's training on Yavin.
I don't know why I brain farted right there. So I was thinking Endor the whole time, not Yavin. So, okay, so it makes more sense. Yeah, Yavin would.
Right. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me on some of the callbacks to like, okay, Yavin. The first, I mean, that's pretty well known that was the rebel base. Like at the, you know what I mean? So like, you go back to a rebel base that defeated the first Death Star. You don't think they'd check those places first? Like the First Order would be like, they had a base on Yavin. Let's make sure it's not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like those would be places that they would scout. That it almost makes more sense that they would be on a random new planet because they're running. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know.
Even Crate was an old rebel base when they land there,
Right.
but it was like they didn't have a major battle there, so it's not like the First Order would have known about it. Whereas like the rebel base at Yavin was compromised. You know what I mean? Like
but okay, so then
there's
that
all
scene,
comics that go in
scene,
there too.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. So that scene with Rose,
Let me pull it up.
where they're you could
Staring
see
at
gun.
something.
What if that's Yavin, and First Order knows about Yavin?
I think.
And they're attacking.
Yeah, could
Yavin,
be. I
the
do
base.
think that the planet, it looks the same. You can see, I'm pulling up the screenshot when Lando's talking to everyone in that, like under the ship. That looks like that same planet because it's got like these green ferns in the background too, similar plant life. So that if it feels like Yavin, this feels like one of those temples that you see in Rogue One too. So like I'd guess Yavin would be or Yavin 4. You know, if you want to get technical, it's the moon, like
It's the
just
same
like
thing,
Endor.
whatever.
But it is odd to me because you would think that if the First Order's tracking down the Resistance,
Right.
they would know of some rebel bases, and those would be the ones that they would check first. Especially with the history of like after in the comics they get into after they blow up the first Death Star, like the Empire invades Yavin 4. Like so it's like it's just odd to me that they would go back there. And for all intents and purposes, maybe they go back there for 2 weeks. Like it's like, the timing is whatever.
They have tried so much nostalgia with this trilogy, though.
Yeah.
So that's why it would make sense if they do use it. And
It
they
still does. Yeah.
I mean,
no, absolutely.
It's J.J. Abrams. You know, he might be like, you know what? Let's bring back some nostalgia with it. Yavin 4, for some reason, the First Order hasn't made it to there, and then they attack.
Right.
That's my guess. Whatever base they're at, whatever plant they're at, that's where they're getting attacked.
Gotcha.
Obviously. So, that said, Rey, looks like she's training.
Yeah.
And
so we move on. Basically, the next scene is that the Lando doing his little speech.
on Yavin.
I searched this. Yeah, it looks like the same planet as Rey. So they're probably all there at one point. I searched this so hard to see if I could find like Hera or like a different species. Like, you know what I mean? And there are a
Trollocs or anything
few.
like that,
yeah.
but-
There are a few clearly, non-human species, but this big blue furry guy right here. But I didn't spot any Twi'lek, or anything obvious that's a character that we're looking for. A lot of Rebel pilot outfits, flight suits and stuff. So, we'll see. And then we get to that Rose scene. I think that's Dominic Monaghan in the background. Pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
And then, so that looks like it's very tough to tell the sequencing. This looks like, because I think you can see Finn, or at least you can see some people with the horses, those space horses.
Yeah.
So I think this is later in the movie. I think this is that scene where you see all the Star Destroyers coming up later in the trailer.
I think it's like, so it sounds like it looks like they're setting up like this final battle.
Yeah.
Between the First Order and the Resistance. It just that makes a lot of sense. I don't.
And then it flashes to Poe, Finn, and Chewie in front of the orange X-wing. That looks like a different model of X-wing because it doesn't split along the wing doesn't split
they
along.
were bringing back some ship in this movie.
I think there's a
read
few
that somewhere?
B-wings, Y-wings.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing back a
They're
lot of
bringing
stuff.
back a bunch.
Yeah. But there's a bunch of different models of the X-wings, like slight differences. I think this is supposed to be a T-85. So it'll be interesting to check out. I mean, it's more of a nerd thing. It's not a big deal. It's another X-wing, But this looks like that
let
same
everybody
planet.
know what it is. I mean, it's a T-85, not T-84. Jeez.
Yeah, the 65 is the normal one. I don't know the specifics.
Luke's is a T-65.
Yeah, and these are like more advanced, I believe. But so then I think this is one of the coolest scenes in the entire thing. It doesn't mean anything, but like just the Corellian Corvette taking off and the trees like brushing. They've done one of my biggest things, and I know we talk about the story a lot, and the sequel. It's so hard for me to say like the next movie that comes out isn't my favorite, just because like special effects and stuff have gone and gotten so much better
This
that
trilogy,
it just looks like
yeah.
Rogue One when it came out. I was like mind blown by
But
that space because it looked real. I mean,
looks
as
real,
real as
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what a space battle looks like, but
Yeah.
it looks so much more real, and obviously
It looks all so it looks way
and it just
way
looks
better.
cooler, right?
But like if you took the old trilogy and put that into what we have today,
Yeah.
like if they did like a
Which you
remake or
could-
something,
right.
that'd be sick.
It'd be awesome. So this is just one of those scenes that I just think looks so unbelievable because that's kind of what it would look. It just looks so
Yeah.
real. You know what I mean? And it's such a simple thing. It's just a ship taking off, but
I
it
mean,
just looks so freaking real.
With where this trilogy has gone with the story, in terms of like how some people feel like the story's lacking, that
Yeah.
you know, whatever the case is, you can't deny that this
The visuals
trilogy, the visuals,
crazy.
the CGI,
Yeah.
everything looks fantastic.
Yep.
It's awesome.
No, they've done a great job with
Um,
like the practical mixed with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Endor thing is going to be so cool looking. Or I'm saying, you know, the Forest Moon of Endor
Yeah.
shit where the Death Star 2 supposedly crashed and when they're fighting on it, the waves, it
Yeah.
just looks so neat. And that's kind of the next scene. So it's Rey saying, you know, nobody knows me, blah, 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 blah. And then Kylo says, but I do. And he comes out of the, cool shot, comes out of like the spray and the mist of the water with his lightsaber, does his funky little backhand grab. I don't really know the fighting. I'm not a
don't-
sword fighting expert, but I feel like holding it like that,
You're gonna stab yourself right there.
especially
cross.
with the cross,
Yeah.
the vent things. Like how is that effective? Like
I don't know.
in what world does that give you
There
an
must be
advantage?
some like sword art to
I'm
it
sure there
that
is. I'm sure
you know,
there
we
is.
don't know about, but
So the next scene is that cool ice thing with the TIE fighters flying in.
like it
I originally saw it and just thought it was like an iceberg on a lake.
no.
But then as I've slowed it down and looked at it, I think it's just
So-
a floating chunk of ice because you can see stars below it and the bottom is not a mirror of the top.
The speculation I've read
Yeah.
is that, and not from the practice, I
Yeah,
gotta
no,
clarify
don't worry.
everything.
Yeah.
So I've read that a lot of people have said that's either a floating planet
Yeah.
or floating like
It's what it looks like.
meteor
Yep.
type asteroid ice thing, in that they're in a different star system at that point that
Gotcha.
they're fighting. So, and then I think you see some Star Destroyers come out at
After
that point
this-
too, right after that.
Yeah, you do start to see the Star Destroyers
Yeah.
emerge. Well, you see Palpatine's throne thing, which is cool. I didn't know there was art from way back in the day, because I've seen a bunch of art of the throne
Are
room
they trying
from
to go Game of
McQuarrie,
Thrones on this?
but from Ralph McQuarrie, where a lot of the stuff came from.
Yeah.
His art. I've seen a bunch of the throne room sketches. I hadn't seen this one, but they almost copied it exactly, which is really cool.
Really?
Like this was one of the drawings. It looks like almost exactly like this throne with like the spikes coming out of it.
Wow.
Which is neat. So then you see the Star Destroyer come out. It looks like it's coming out from ice, almost. So I
Yeah, that's
wonder
why I
if
think
that's
it's from
where
there.
it's from. That they're
Maybe
all
they
like
were
frozen
hiding.
in there or something. Yeah. Which is neat. Then we have. I know I said the other one was the coolest, but this was probably my favorite shot for like lore purposes. The ships.
Yeah.
Dude, I went through and looked at so many. I mean, there's
So you
very
have-
few ones that I think are, or there's a lot that are speculative. Obviously, there's a million ships in the galaxy. So the Ghost is a version of I think it's a VCX something.
It would be
so
odd
it could,
if it was.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it would be
especially
weird. So,
where they put it.
I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and I was like, he actually hasn't gotten into Rebels yet.
Okay.
We were talking about Disney Plus, and I was like, in the trailer, there is a link back to, or we think it's a link back to Star Wars Rebels with that ship.
It definitely is.
It has to be, but I'm just saying, like, we don't know for sure. It could just be
Right.
it's our kid. That's what it is.
You think? Well, I
could be
don't
that.
know that we have canon proof of Twi'lek's like age, so it could
That's
be her.
true.
I don't know
Yeah.
how long they live, but yeah, it could be Jason.
And wasn't it another
Jason
ship?
Syndulla, or is it Jarrus, or is it Doom? What did he choose his last name? Probably Syndulla.
Was that Jason?
Jason,
Jason.
Jacen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think I would say if it was way in the background, maybe it was just like a shout out like it was in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is right next to the Millennium Falcon, I feel like
you have to say something.
not that he's going to be maybe a character, but he's going to be in the background again or get mentioned. I feel like
or it's her.
Right, yeah. I think it's more than just like that's the one scene you're going to see the ghost and then they're not going to mention it. I feel like there's something more to it.
So we'll get to the theory stuff, but yeah.
So ships. There's a couple Mon-Cal ships. There's the Nebulan B, like the medical frigate kind of looking things, the weird ones that are like hatchet shaped.
Yep.
One right there. I think this one in the bottom, I'm gonna like this guy right here, looks a lot like Han's ship from The Force Awakens, his gigantic freighter hauler thing. It's called the Irvana. I had to look it up. I did not remember Irvana. But you know the one when he's on with Chewie at the beginning that he like eats the Millennium Falcon with the Raptors?
Yep.
It looks exactly like the front of that ship. So, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if Chewie went back and got it.
So if it's like a last stance, the final battle, you're going to see everything.
Yep.
Everybody's going to be there. Yep. So
somebody said this guy in the middle, this ship in the middle, is from the Clone Wars. It was like a Mandalorian kind of ship.
That's what. So
I wasn't familiar. I don't remember that one specifically.
So I've read too that there was speculation that Sabine would also be.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Somehow tied to this as well.
Through a Mandalorian kind of ship.
Yeah, through something like that. That was a ship that that they said was tied to it. So
that's neat.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. This guy right here looks a lot like. I looked it up, so it's not exactly like it because actually. In the Mandalorian, that ship that they have, that the main character has, looks a lot like this one with the two engines out to the side.
Yeah.
Kind of like the LAAT from the Clone Wars, the gunships. But I think it may be something random because I think the wings are under and the engines sit on top, whereas this one's like the wings are here and the engines sit underneath.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is front and center, so who knows, right? Or something similar, maybe. And then you have a U-wing down here. So you have a lot. I mean, I think there'll be more, too. I also thought that it's maybe like a second later. But there's one back here. Oh, this guy right here. That looks a lot. I think it's way too small. And it is in the background, so it's tough to tell distance. But there's one back there that looks like the thing from Phantom Menace, the clone droid control ships with the ball in the middle that has like the ring around it that Anakin blows up in the little Naboo starfighter. That'd
be cool.
Yeah. So like they brought some droids back, some like separate
could be
stuff.
Ships they just throw back to like every single movie or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think there'll be even more because I mean this is just one quick scene. Obviously, the scene's going to be longer. And then I think you have some Hammerhead, like, Corvette things here and here. Somebody said they thought they saw, like, this guy maybe down here could be the Outrider, which would be neat. I mean, it's just a really cool-looking scene, nonetheless. So there'll be some neat stuff. All right, so then where does it go? We get Kylo and Rey still fighting on the bridge. We get an explosion. I think this is Rey and Finn flying over the water to the Death Star wreckage again, because Finn ends up on that somehow. It looks like. So that'll be interesting. That's got to be the end. Right.
What?
Them fighting and going to the Death Star, because isn't that where? Maybe not, because that's going to be on Endor, and it looks like she sees Palpatine more on that ice planet thing. So yeah. So maybe that's the middle.
Yeah. I feel like that's too obvious to be the end. It's too.
I mean, the end's got to be when she sees Palpatine.
If she sees Palpatine, we don't know
in the scene, sure. Yeah. I mean, but that scene seems like that has to be towards the end because if, that would be my guess. It seems a weird plot point to kill Palpatine in the middle of the movie. I feel like that would it'd be odd. So her seeing him, I mean, and there could be a back and forth.
Do you think Palpatine's there though?
Yes. I don't know what... I'll say that I have no idea what Palpatine is going to be. Like, that scene where you see, like, the hood, where first of all, it looks like he's sitting in something moving, is what it looks like. So is he on, like, some spider walker thing? The hood doesn't move, so is he just, like, pinned to this thing? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you read this in the practice thing. I'm sure he has a lot about it.
No.
The most interesting theory I heard, and then put together a little bit on my own. They mentioned someone mentioned on Reddit the the Clone Wars arc of the son, the father, and the daughter.
Yeah.
That were like the Force
read that
entities.
too. Yeah.
Right? Because of a couple things. You saw we'll get to the scene, but she has the dagger in her hand at one point.
I read that too.
There was a dagger in that arc. I want to go back and watch it. It was a
Obi-
funky
Obi-Wan
kind of arc.
has, has the, yeah.
And that's the only thing that can kill any of them or stop any of them. So it's kind of like a... Is it a... Maybe not a direct call to, but it brings up the point, did Palpatine become this, like, beyond just a Force user, like some kind of god, if you will, like entity, but he's in a weakened state, kind of like a Voldemort kind of thing.
No,
like
was
that's
he like Darth Bane?
Well, Bane's
or Plagueis, I should say.
Well, neither of them. They were still just like beings. Like I feel like
Did
he's
they
like
get beyond that? Though?
No,
they never did.
Not that
Well,
you know
so
of.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So-
end of the Bane novel, spoiler if you want to read that, the end of the Bane novel hints that he may have Force essence transferred into his apprentice.
Yeah.
It ends on a mystery, so you don't know. But that would still just be his consciousness
But
taking
there
over a
is-
body. Like,
but-
he doesn't... I'm saying, like, does Palpatine literally become, like, a... like, disembodied entity? Like,
So,
he doesn't need a...
It brings
but
up the other question, though. What if he was in Snoke?
Yeah.
Because
and riding it along.
Because
Yeah,
there was
no,
a comic
absolutely.
that kind of
Did some
that
weird... Yeah,
with,
people called it out that he kind of, like...
No. There was a comic with what's his face. It was during the Vader comics.
Okay.
When that
Momin. The
yes,
mask. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That you could
So
haunt
what?
certain things and then take
So if
over.
he can do that, then if Palpatine
Took over Snoke.
he could. Yeah, he could definitely.
Most
get
of
that
the
power.
stuff that I guess there's nothing in canon. Well, the moment thing, I haven't read directly into it. In Bane's case, you had to like, they made it seem like you had, and again, that's not canon, but you had to kind of transfer before you died or as you died. It wasn't a thing where Bane could die and roam around and find someone, but Momin was in the mask.
You could. Yes, but then I think you could kill the host and he could still be transferred.
Right, but if you destroyed the mask, what happens? That would be the question.
I don't
In
know
other words, if he's in Snoke, my only point with that is if he's in Snoke,
yeah,
Kylo kills Snoke.
Yeah.
So where does he if that's the thing,
Lightsaber.
you have to, he goes into the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Be interesting. I didn't think of that, but so then he possesses Rey?
Oh, I didn't even think.
Then why is he on the ice planet? I think
No,
it's
that
more of a
doesn't make- that
Voldemort
doesn't
thing.
make
I think
sense.
honestly it's like he died but somehow was able to retain something, went somewhere, this is super general, this is just in my mind, went somewhere and somehow is regaining strength. The cool part of the theory, I went way off track.
Yeah.
They mention the father the son thing just as a backdrop, which is neat if you watched it, because I think they have a point. There is, in canon, there's something like a higher force power or higher force being that weren't really they were just entities. They weren't they could change into different things. It was kind of like a wacky thing.
Like a man god or something like.
Yeah, but I don't think they could
between.
leave they were stuck in that place.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, the cool thing that they mentioned was more along the lines of if the force is always balanced, right? So the reason the Sith believed in the rule of two was because there's X amount of dark side and X amount of light side, and it has to balance, and this was the whole thing, and they saw it as if you put all of the dark side in two users, those two people could be more powerful than the Jedi have it in 10,000. You know what I mean? So in other words, if you thought of it as equal amount of light side power, equal amount of dark side power, and the light side has 10,000 that it's spread over, and the dark side only has 2, in theory, the 2 would be stronger individually than an individual light side user. That if you're going with that, it'd be interesting saying that if Luke's gone and Kylo killed Snoke, that Kylo is the only dark side user currently, and Rey is the only light side user. That's why Rey kind of became what she was.
Yeah.
And now you have a concentration of power. Both of them are just pure light, pure dark, just really super powerful because no one else is draining the power. And maybe that's where that whole quote from Palpatine Maybe he's like a succubus kind of thing. Like he needs to gain power back and now instead of it being spread out over a lot of people, he just needs to get 2 people near him and he can kill one and take their power kind of thing. It's kind of Voldemort-y, and like, isn't that how the Horcrux things work? I'm not I was told that it's similar to that. Basically, you take power from people. I'm not a fan of
Harry Potter, so...
No, I'm just saying it's an example of how it's been done, like, in literature and in a story before, how they did it. So, I mean, that's...
I mean, it sounds like a good theory. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't fully buy it. I don't know. I get weirded out with reading it now. I'm going to stay away from because I don't know what's been... Because now you don't know if someone's making a theory off of...
The praxis.
Yeah, so...
Because that was...
So, but I think that that's a theory, even if it ends up being true, and it was taken from that kind of thing, that theory, like, is logical that you could see it that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that's pulling from a million different things. Palpatine says... You two coming together will be your undoing. And if you've listened to kind of how the Force works with balance and everything, it makes sense.
So then why did they destroy Vader's mask and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what that scene is.
Yeah.
They're obviously working together in a way at some point. Now, I don't know if it's like a grudging, like, gotta beat Palpatine, then we'll fight each other, or if they're actually on the same side. I really don't know.
Do you think Kylo goes back to the light side?
I saw... So, this is going to be the one, like, spoiler alert. I don't know if this is real. So, if you, like, give me 15, 20 seconds if you're a huge fan and don't want to... But I clicked on Reddit, and they just had a picture. And I always click on those because I figure there's no... But they had a picture, and either someone did an unbelievable job editing it, or they somehow got a leaked extra scene from a trailer maybe that they axed, or who knows how they got it. But it was a very clear picture. And it looked like it was in the same framing kind of as Rey when she has the lightsaber and she looks scared. Mm-hmm. But it's not the same angle, so it made me think it wasn't edited because it's like from a different angle. So it's not like they just... But Kylo's there looking much more like Ben Solo, and there's a second... Have you seen this? He's standing right next to her, and there's a blue blade next to him. As if he's come back to the light, and now they're going to fight someone.
Really?
It looked... If someone faked this, it was really good. Because it's from, like, a certain angle. Now. I don't... Yeah, maybe it got taken down. I could try to find it for you later. But that... So, let's... If there are people coming back... But that's a spoiler. So that makes me think
the whole movie, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's real, so I don't want to... You know what I mean? I feel bad, but that's a possibility. I think... So if you go along the lines of Palpatine needs something to come back, like, and to be a threat again, maybe that's where Kylo... I can't see Rey going unless it's like she dies and everything's eliminated. You know what I mean? So I don't see her going, but I could see if Palpatine kills Kylo.
Yeah.
That maybe that's how he gets his dark. If you went with the whole, like, Voldemort theory, then he's powerful again, and then she fights him, and that's that. But could Kylo, if they do team up to fight the bigger bad, and that's what happens, and then something weird happens with Palpatine, could Ben go back to good? I guess. I still don't understand how he'd have a different lightsaber. But, like, whatever. Like, again, we don't know I guess the tough thing is you don't know the progression of the movie. So, like, maybe all that with him and her fighting on the Death Star, maybe that's maybe that's Act 1. And then they kind of come together, and so maybe... you know what I mean? Like,
I didn't read that, if you want to know.
No, so, but I'm saying, like... You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, the trailer makes it look like that's all at the end. Yeah. But maybe her and Kylo fight real early, and it's more about, like, a Ben redemption thing. So by the end, they've already gone through this whole thing. But then I don't know where, like, the Knights of Ren fit in, because that has to be a whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
You know what wasn't on almost... There was almost nothing in the trailer, is that desert planet. They show the one scene of them racing away and BB-8 hits the thing. Yeah. But, like, that was a huge part of the other trailers. There was, like, nothing on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know? That's why I'm starting to think. I know you don't agree with me, but that's, like, the very end of the movie, and it's, like, a celebration.
Nope.
But Regardless.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, I just find that odd if they are putting a scene out there that's a celebration at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think I don't think many people think that.
I just don't think, to me, the Death Star stuff, I just don't think that's
late.
I don't think it's late. It has to be early. I think that's
I agree
more
with you
like,
in the now, because now that we've seen Palpatine and that ice thing and him, and it looks like that Rey is meeting him, if that is him. Again, all what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Looks like it's in that icy scene. Like it looks like it's on that planet. So if they're then fighting, and that's obviously not on Endor from what it looks like. So if they're fighting on Endor, it's either before or after, and it really doesn't make any sense for it to be after.
Right.
Like they beat Palpatine, and then Rey and Kylo are fighting on the Death Star. I feel
sense.
like they went to the Death Star. Maybe that's the whole dagger thing. They have to go there, and they find out Palpatine's still alive. So maybe that's when they team up.
With Snoke.
Yeah.
Kind of like Snoke died kind of. He wasn't at the very end. In that movie.
No, not the very end.
No,
I would say it was that was probably the end
like
of the second act.
Yeah, 2/3 of the
and then
movie.
the third act is Crate and Kylo, that
and
whole
Luke
thing. Yeah,
and all that. So that's why I just don't think. I think the Death Star is early on. I'm gonna guess.
I'm gonna agree with you that. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess they're looking for like something's going on where they're looking for something because it doesn't make sense why they're going there.
I think that's from the dagger thing and a little bit that we've read and put. I think that's probably has a lot to do with that. They find maybe that's where they find out. Either that's where they go because they think they hear about Palpatine, or that's when they by accidentally find out that Palpatine's still around. But it definitely seems like that's probably when they fight, but then team up from there.
And
especially that scene where they're both in the Death Star room and they're looking at each other.
And the movie will probably answer why they're going there. But something's going to happen that's going to draw them there. Because it just does not make sense that the movie's going to end on the Death Star.
No.
It just
I
seems
agree
like there's too much shit going on that you're like, why would it go?
My jump is like, where is... I now don't think from the scenes and watching like the battle scenes, I think we're seeing two totally different fights. And this is what I'm trying to put in my mind, right? You have like the bluish tone at night, lightning strike, probably around that ice thing or in the area with the Star Destroyers. You have that battle that they've shown a couple different angles of, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't look like the same lighting or place that you see the ship shot or the original one from the first trailer where they all come out of hyperspace and it's more like the fighters. Those seem like they're in atmosphere and not in like space, not lightning-y. So I'm wondering, like, we obviously have a battle on that desert planet because we've seen the Knights of Ren there in the behind-the-scenes footage, and we see Poe and Finn on that like speeder thing, and BB-8 shoots the thing. So we know there's a battle there. I'm wondering if that's where all those ships go. But here's my point. This is why it's confusing. It's like it's clear to me that those ships, that desert planet, maybe the whole first scene of the trailer with Rey and
maybe the
Kylo,
ice things around the desert planet.
It just looks like totally different.
Maybe they're in the same system.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's not the same place.
No, not the same place. But maybe all those ships come from the ice planet. What you're seeing is them kind of coming out, like all these ships are coming out. Then they go to, the desert planet, which might be like nearby in the same system, and that's where the final battle kind of ends there. But on the ice planet, that could be, I don't know, where the rest of it goes, I guess.
I feel like they're two different big battles. I feel like we're getting two huge battles.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ship shot, the ship's shot looks like it's in atmosphere. It looks like a sky in the background. It looks like a daytime sky. And we've seen a battle happening on the desert planet. It makes me think that those direct... all the ships are also going to fight in the other one, but I'm saying I think that is his own battle. And then all the shots you see of like the Star Destroyer, Ice Planet, all those have the same looking tone, dark sky, spacey background. So I think those are two completely different fights. Yeah. My question is like, now it's starting to make sense of like Rey training, Kylo and her meet up on the Death Star. They find out about Palpatine. Maybe this is all in theory. They go fight Palpatine, and then that stuff happens. But so when does that leave time for this like desert planet?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
again,
that's
I'm
true.
totally forgetting the beginning of the first teaser is Rey on the desert planet with Kylo's ship coming and she does the flip. Is
Yeah.
that like after they team up and that's some kind of extra training thing? But then why is there a battle there?
That
Doesn't it seem
that doesn't
weird?
make sense.
Like where does the desert planet fit in this whole timeline?
That doesn't make sense.
You know?
Yeah.
It just seems odd.
Because that's his ship. 100% his ship. Going after.
Yeah, I think it's him.
Going after Rey. So it's kind of like why.
Well, maybe it is a training thing. This is my only thing. Like maybe they're
That just
because
doesn't-
wouldn't Kylo shoot at her, or like wouldn't like it looks like it's like it looks like it's like planned.
Why? Yeah, but why would they train together? That doesn't make sense.
I'm saying after they've teamed
He's the
up.
leader of. Okay, yeah, but if they team up, he's still the supreme leader of the First Order. Why?
At that point?
So Palpatine's just gonna take it from him? I don't think that's gonna happen.
No. I think so. This is getting to my one
It
of the
doesn't
things
make
I
sense.
feel the most strongly about, and I think is the best way to go with this, and I wanted them to do it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do it in a totally different way. I wanted like a extra threat. I wanted like a Chiss thing. I wanted a third party army.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how I see it making the most sense. I just don't think you can build the Resistance to a point that they could fight the First Order head on yet. If it's only going to be 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years after.
Well,
I don't think it could happen. So I think Palpatine is going to serve... I think Palpatine serves more as the Force thing.
Yeah.
But like all those Star Destroyers, I feel like that's going to be like the third person battle. Like the Star Destroyers are going to... Because think about Operation Cinder when he dies. He just tries to wreck the whole Empire. And then he
Yeah.
sends some of them to the First Order, right? Who says he's not sitting out there gaining power, going, First Order, fine. Get the New Republic gone. I don't need them. But then I'm going to come and I'm going to wipe you out because my Emperor... You know what I mean? So, like, does that make it so that basically those ships end up destroying the First Order and it's like a three-way battle / the Resistance and the First Order kind of team up? Because, again, like you said, Kylo is
I
the
don't see
supreme
it.
leader. So if he says Palpatine's the big threat... Is Hux they're gonna be like a split off, you think?
Nope. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be First Order Resistance. I think it will complicate things way too much throughout the movie.
I think I think everyone that says that is dropping the huge thing of how in the world, with the stuff that we know, could the Resistance have enough people to not just
This
get
is
wiped
literally
out? Like what would happen?
We're gonna see the biggest battle of all 9
Right.
movies.
But the
Of
First
all 9
Order,
movies.
there was 20 people left in the Resistance. How in 2 years are they going to have an army that's big enough to
I
fight
don't
the
know.
First Order?
The movie's gonna answer that, but I don't think there's gonna be a third party. I just don't see it. I don't see the First Order.
Well, we will disagree
I don't
on that
think,
because
I don't think the First Order and the Resistance are gonna join forces.
I don't know
think-
about that. I'm just saying that Palpatine is a third. He is not on anybody's side. That's my guess. I don't think he's with the First Order. Is my theory. Now, whether that means he
it
likes
just
the
doesn't
Resistance
make
less,
sense.
it makes all the sense in the world.
To me, it doesn't.
If you read everything and look at Operation Cinder, his whole thing was if he died, he wanted the Empire to burn.
Okay.
So if he's back alive and the
Yeah.
First Order comes back, it's not his First Order.
Are you sure about that?
Again, we don't know. Is he in the...
The
was he in
remaining people
outside?
that went out in the unknown regions, wasn't that him that was saying, like, all right, the remains go to the unknown regions?
That was what he
disappear?
gave Gallius Rax, yes.
So, couldn't that be part of his plan all
Yes,
along?
to wipe out... I'm saying
He wiped out the
to
Empire.
wipe out the New Republic.
No. So, they go to the unknown regions, and then he builds up the First Order kind of behind, like, he's
I think
behind
he
the
lets
scenes.
them build up, yeah.
Yes. And
Even if he
then-
built them up. Okay.
That's what I see.
So why... But it makes no sense...
Why would you have a third party attacking? That part doesn't make sense to me.
What
Like,
doesn't
why
make
would
sense
he-
is if he is in charge of the First Order,
Yeah.
why is he not just in charge of the First Order? Why do we need his ships in
He
the
fell
ice?
down a Death Star shaft. I have no idea. He probably.
But
no
all the
clue.
stuff we said is that Rey
We have
and
no idea what he's
Kylo.
gonna
You don't
be.
think Rey and Kylo are teaming up?
No.
You don't think Kylo's trying
No.
to kill Palpatine?
Wait,
You don't think
what?
at any point Rey and Kylo are teaming up in this movie?
No.
From the stuff that you've seen in those trailers?
No.
So
I
they
think
just agree not to fight, and then they go and they're fighting and they destroy the... What do you think the Vader thing is then? If they're not teamed up?
maybe it's like a Force vision or something. I just don't...
So you
part of me, I just don't feel like they're going to team up. There's something... Maybe at the end. Maybe at the very end they might team up. I don't think throughout the movie, I don't think they're going to team up. I think he's still hell-bent on taking over the galaxy at that point.
I don't understand how you justify the scenes in the trailer of them standing next to each other, breaking the Vader thing, standing in the Death Star room, not fighting. How does that... If he's just trying to kill her, how does that make any sense?
I don't know.
You think he's... I mean, I guess you could say he's still trying to get her to join him.
Yeah, because, I mean,
that's
World
teaming
War
up.
II. Yeah, huh?
That's teaming up.
I guess, but, like...
I'm not saying Kylo's like, hey, I'm back on the light side, let's do some stuff.
The only thing I could... Maybe it's a case like that. She's still trying to search her feelings, try to figure out... But at the same time, I just feel like the end of Last Jedi, she left on that note that was just like, I'm on the light path. That's it. So something that doesn't make sense to me either. So in my head, I think it's going to be more...
You haven't read that they don't team up?
No. Okay. This doesn't come from praxis
at
all. No.
We will definitely disagree on this point.
Yes.
Because I think Palpatine... I think they are teaming up to kill Palpatine. And I think the trailer makes it... Which I will give you to your credit, because usually the trailers are misleading. But everything the trailers are saying is that they're teaming up to kill Palpatine, which would make Palpatine the thing that is the biggest threat, which makes him a third party.
I guess
that's
for
my
me,
theory.
I just look at from like... I'm just looking at it, I guess, from a different way, where you're looking at a movie where they're... that's too obvious. That would make it so obvious that, like, okay, Kylo and Rey team up. Too obvious. At this point, it looks like they're going to do that. I feel like this trailer and all the trailers, I think they're trying to play with us. I think it's... They know how they know how we are.
Yeah,
they know how Star Wars fans are. They know how speculative they are.
Yeah.
So either the movie's cut and dry, and it's gonna be like Game of Thrones, for instance, where, like, you know how there's so much speculation, and then it was kind of just like all the obvious things happened. It could be like that, or it's gonna be like what we're saying. There's gonna be Chiss ascendancy and all this other shit that's gonna happen that would be cool. But it would be cool. I'm just saying, I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, the Chiss ascendancy aren't.
And at the same time, a lot of the scenes that we're seeing, I'm like, I feel like this is too. They're making it too obvious. It's either it's gonna happen exactly like that, or it's gonna be completely opposite. And I'm gonna be on the completely opposite side, because I feel like with this movie, if they screw this movie up, there's going to be a lot of...
So, I guess I would have agreed with you until... I'm trying to think about the other... I don't think there was anything in the other trailers. I would have agreed with you with the team-up thing until this trailer, because I think... The
Vader thing?
I think two things. The Vader thing...
It's too obvious. It's just... To me, it screams that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The problem is... trying to explain it away sounds sillier than it just being the truth. And it's not just that. It's also the scene where they're just standing there looking at each other, like 10 feet away in the Death Star chamber, the wreckage chamber, where they're just standing there looking at each other, clearly talking. That's from Rey's point of view, where she left it at The Last Jedi, right? Where she was like, he's gone, or whatever.
Yep.
If Leia talks her into, like, he can still come back, there's good in everyone, like the Vader thing, right? If they get to the point where they're not fighting, I just don't... I don't know.
Maybe it's Rey's attempt to get him to go to the light side.
Right, but that's a team-up. If he goes with it, that's teaming up. I agree with you that I don't think it's going to be this, like... we're buddies and pals. I think it's going to be this weird, like, I still run the First Order, and we're still going to wipe out the Resistance kind of thing, but we need to get rid of Palpatine. So I don't think it's going to be this buddy cop movie. You know what I mean? But I think they're going to have to team up to beat him. So I think they are. That's the team up I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, hey, high five,
so
let's go meet your mom,
so why
Leia,
would-
remember? Like,
so-
I don't think it's going to be like that.
All right, so you bring up a point right there that I'm thinking of. Why does Kylo want to kill Palpatine?
If he thinks he's a bigger threat. Especially if he finds out the truth about Anakin. And what actually happened. And that Palpatine was in charge of
This
it
is
the whole
if
time.
Palpatine's alive, first off.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
I mean,
yep. No, if
he-
Palpatine can talk
they're
and all
making
that
it
kind of stuff.
again.
Yeah,
They're making it real. That's the thing. It's either gonna be completely obvious and everything's gonna happen like we're saying, or it's gonna be. It's not Palpatine. It might be someone else. We have no idea. It could be Snoke. We have no fucking clue. It probably isn't Snoke.
I
It's probably
mean, I think
Palpatine,
now you're going just like completely. Palpatine's in it.
Yeah.
How? What form is he? Like a floating ghost? Is he in the skin? I don't know. But Palpatine's in it. His voice is in 2 trailers now. It would be brutal of them not to put Palpatine in it. So Palpatine's in it. I have no idea what type of Palpatine. If you know what I mean. Like I don't know how he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it. You know what I mean? I don't know that we'll see him in the flesh. Maybe it's a moment thing where he's like possessing something, another body. Fine. But to me, that's Palpatine. Like Palpatine's in it. He's influencing it. I think.
I just don't.
That can't not be in it.
Right. So.
All right. So let's try to finish this up. We're going. We got some good conversations here. So then we're just at the scene with C-3PO, touching little scene. Last time I see my friends, he's obviously getting something.
They're getting something from him.
Yeah, and he has to obviously
Die. Pretty much.
yeah, as a
It's pretty
droid,
much
basically
die.
get his memory wiped. I mean, it's happened before. It happened earlier in the. Did it happen after Revenge of the Sith? He's got his memory wiped before.
Yep.
So, anyways, touching little scene. Then you get Poe, Finn, and Chewbacca running through what looks like a First Order ship, shooting stormtroopers. You get the Rey and Leia hug. That'll be interesting. Do you think Leia dies in this, or like goes away? How do you think they do that? Do you think they kill her, or do you think she just like
I think she
fades
does.
into the Force? Like how? I think she does too,
does.
but
I
I
don't
think
know
it's gonna
how.
be in a weird like she just kind of disappears way, almost like an Obi-Wan. like some kind of odd. Like I can't
know.
see her getting killed.
Yeah.
You know what I
doesn't-
mean?
Well, the amount of CGI and stuff they would have to do for that too.
Just fade her away.
Yeah. I don't know.
Then you have the funky little the race scene on the desert planet that we keep talking about. Like we don't know what's going on in this desert planet.
I don't think they're training. I don't think they're teaming.
No, the desert planet. I'm saying same planet, but when they're on the speeder and BB-8's hitting the pond and
gotcha,
stuff like that.
Okay.
So we just can't figure out what the heck that is.
Yeah.
Lando and Chewie in a ship. I don't think it's a Falcon. The sides of it don't look
Nostalgia.
like the Falcon.
And that's another thing that we didn't really bring up is that Lando's there. You don't know what kind of ties he has to whatever
I think he's
forces
gonna be
out there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a big part of bringing people along. Yep.
What if it's Bespin?
What's Bespin?
The ship scene.
I mean, it would be more red, right? It just looks like a normal sky.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
I'm just.
Then we get some awesome Y-wing action, spinning, shooting the. This looks like they're shooting that huge cannon, which are under those original Star Destroyer things. So I mean, that's another good point, though. Like, if that's just it's got to be somewhere, that ice thing, because if they're just floating in space in the middle of nowhere in an ice thing, what the hell are the cannons shooting at? You see it hit the ground at some point. Region. Yeah, but okay, that's just a vast amount of space. I'm saying those cannons we saw in the original one shooting and hitting ground, like they have to. What are they shooting at? The ice thing? Maybe they're blowing up the ice thing? Maybe. I don't know. It just seems like if it's floating in space, which I'm saying lends credence to your thought that ice thing is near something.
Yeah.
Because they have to be shooting at something. So where are they going? I mean, they could always jump in the hyper. I mean, it doesn't mean they're at the ice planet.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a scene where you see them like coming alive or whatever, and then they jump or whatever. But yeah, Y-wing, cool to see. Then we see the horse kind of brigade, the cavalry running along. I think a Star Destroyer, which is another interesting point that I was thinking of when you see this. They're running on top of a Star Destroyer, it looks like, in that battle. So that battle has to be in some kind of atmosphere. If they're in the vacuum of space, you can't be running along the top of the thing. They don't have any gear on.
So
they're in some kind of thing, right?
So that's why I think there's got to be a planet nearby where that ice thing is.
Yeah. Or the ice thing has its own atmosphere.
That too.
I mean, it's Star Wars. It's not exactly science. So.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be science, dude.
Then you have the scene I was talking about with Rey and Kylo standing on the bridge of the Death Star. Rey's lightsaber is ignited, for what it's worth, but they're clearly Kylo's not. Who knows? They're
like,
clearly
that
talking about something.
They might have been fighting, and then they just
stop for a
capture the
second.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
again,
I hear you. Then we see Finn running along what looks like the Death Star wreckage. I think he's yelling Rey, followed by that scene of the altar that we think is the altar with Vader, with them looking like they're teamed up. Rey has the Sith saber, the Sith dagger, or whatever dagger. I think people think it's Sith. The only weird thing here is like where I was wondering, like it has like very Star Destroyer-esque lighting, but it's all white. So does Kylo have a new chamber? Because in The Force Awakens, that chamber he's in isn't white. It's very dark. So is this like his new... Well, I guess he's the Supreme Leader, so maybe this is his new spot.
Maybe just this, yeah.
Somebody pointed out a really cool thing. In the background, after it explodes, you can kind of see like this table. And it looks like Chewie's bandelier's there.
Oh.
So I don't know... Actually, let me check. I don't think Chewie has a bandolier anymore. Right? No, he doesn't. And I don't think he has in the new trilogy. So maybe that's like one of Kylo's like keepsake things. You know what I mean? He has like Chewie's old bandolier or something. It's odd. I mean, I wonder if they explain that.
Wasn't that like a thing of the Sith and the Jedi?
Relics?
Relics. Like was it?
Yeah, but Chewie's not Force sensitive, so I don't really know. I mean, obviously he grew up with Kylo. You know, with Ben Solo, so I don't know if it's like a... But it'd be... I don't know. It's odd.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. Then you have the next scenes, the horses running along a Star Destroyer. What I think is a Star Destroyer bridge with all the Star Destroyers kind of in line. Big lightning strike. Mm-hmm. You see some of those new TIE Dagger things flying over, and then you get a B-Wing and an X-Wing. Which B-Wings, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And that just looks like a huge battle. You can see the big cannons under at least some of these. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Again, looks like clouds, dark. Like not like the same. It's definitely not the exact same scene as the ships because it's daytime. You know what I mean? Then you just get Kylo with his little turn. Looks, who knows where that is. They obviously want you to think it's with Rey and what we think is Palpatine. Mm-hmm. That scene is so weird how it moves, though, because it seems like Palpatine's on something moving. It looks like it's, like, walking, which would be super creepy if he's on like, some kind of spider thing. Like, oh. Imagine if the chair is what he's on, and the spikes, like, turn around, and they're, like, legs.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
And then Rey looking absolutely... It's a weird petrified, though. It's like... I don't know. Maybe she's having another one of those moments like she did with when she like blocks Kylo's thing in The Force Awakens strike, and she like goes into her head.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Maybe
it's something like that, and then that's that.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, cool.
Exciting.
Yeah. It'll be fun because we do have. I mean, we're on the same page mostly, but we do have some disagreements going in, and I don't know what you've read of the praxis stuff, but not much of what you said was based on that. But no. I mean, I can't even say either. Like I've been on Reddit a lot. Who knows if you don't know if someone else's speculation is based on what they read on the thing.
Yeah, that's the problem with Reddit because it's out there. Literally on Reddit, it was just like, here, check out this fan's theory. It wasn't.
No. And you know what? Anything other than his direct post, if you don't know and it's speculating on that's the stuff I don't care about. It's more like and I don't even... Great for him. Like, some people want that. That's fine. Like, I'm not saying it shouldn't be out there. I'm just saying I love speculating and little leaks that you try to put together. But, like, someone who just has, like, the script, I'm like, that's not interesting. Like, I want to kind of guess and stuff, you know?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
So...
Yeah, so
it brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah, stay off Reddit. Don't... Yeah, just stay off Reddit for a little bit.
Unless you
let
wanna
it die down
If
for
you
a
want to
little
know,
bit.
get after it.
Well, we got 2 months.
Yeah.
Let it die down. Get your tickets.
It's going to be easy, though,
Watch
because
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's coming out. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff to do. There's new books.
And then you're going to have stupid shit where there's going to be people posting things like left and right, and hopefully that clogs up whatever real stuff, I guess, is out there that supposedly that's real. So,
yeah,
it's just unfortunate that, if someone did really post a script of everything. But,
so I think that pretty much wraps it up. I know next episode, like more of a podcast one, we may stream again and do both, but next episode, you're currently reading Bloodline for the first time, and I'm listening to it for the second time. I haven't read it in 2 years since it came out.
I'm actually doing. I'm listening to Master and Apprentice right now too.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost done with that. So.
But we want to do Bloodline because it has a lot to do with some theories going into setting up the universe better for The Force Awakens and doing that kind of thing and talking about that, because I've already not getting into like details, but I've totally forgot about like Greer and Joff Seastriker. Like, I wonder if they'll show up as background roles here. I mean, we know
Maybe.
Corsella died, unfortunately, in The Force Awakens. She was on Hosnian Prime. But I don't think there's any canon on Greer or Joff after that book ends. Or Casterfo. Or Casterfo.
Yeah, that's
who's like
true.
the weird kind of secondary character in the book.
Yeah, what I read of him, it doesn't...
He comes around, but it'd be interesting to see, because I guess in theory he's a senator, so I guess they probably just write him off as he's probably on Hosnian Prime when it blows up. So those are easy.
I mean, that'd be a quick, easy way to get rid of all those characters. It's just
but Greer and Joff would be interesting.
Yeah.
Joff is in the New Republic Navy at that point, so maybe he gets blown up too. But Greer, I feel like, could show up because she's a good pilot. Han taught her a lot, so that'd be an interesting one. Yep. All right, so we'll call it there, and we'll have episode 5 coming to you. We may not do Bloodline if you're not done yet, but we'll do a full episode. There'll be new news and stuff like that, and then but Bloodline will be coming up soon.
Yeah, make
5
sure.
or 6.
Another thing, make sure to follow us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and we're gonna set up our YouTube so you can watch this episode, and our Instagram. Make sure to follow us and share with your friends. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll throw it on the next podcast. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
all right, take it easy, guys.
Hut!